Okay, so I know that everyone's sort of wondering in terms of being your own advocate, like you talked about at the beginning. Obviously, this could be 6 episodes unto itself, but in reading your book, I'm just trying to figure out what the tips are for knowing, is my vagina okay? What are the basic tests and procedures that someone 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus should be asking for from their gynecologist?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the pap smear has changed sort of the requirements, but you're going to have to talk to your gynecologist if you're high risk, if you have HPV, getting your mammograms, especially over 50. I think that's really important. Rectal exams, as you mentioned,
Oh,
and bone bone scans, of course.
and
Um,
what
de-
age bone scans? I haven't done that
well,
yet.
yeah, it's usually, after 50, and depending on your risk factors and your mom's history, and, if you have, if you're sort of a thin white female, you might be more at risk. If your mother has, a humpback from osteoporosis, that's going to put you at risk. Depending on your hormonal status, you may want to be checking your FSH and estradiol and thyroid when you're noticing sort of emotional changes. Um, but other things that are really important is you should always be checking your breasts. Self breast exam is really important to do because you might be the first person to find that lump in your breast. I'm also a big believer in heart disease screening, since 1 in 4 women will die of heart disease, and 80% of the risk factors to heart disease can be prevented, again, at an early age. And often it's the OBGYN that's going to identify those women at risk. Another really important thing is the HPV vaccine. We know about it for our kids. Traditionally it was for under 26. Well, now for women, we can give it up to 45. So a lot
Wow.
of, women who've gotten divorced, um, who are out there again, they should really talk to their gynecologist about getting the HPV vaccine.
Yeah, I know there's some people who say that it could have certain risks and this and that, but your opinion on it is that as long as your doctor approves it and you're a candidate for it, then it's generally within reason.
Yes, exactly. It's very safe. They've done hundreds of thousands of vaccines, and they're really the main side effects have to do with the injection site.
Got it.
It's some of the things you've heard are just really not true.
Okay, and is are the adult ones the same as the kids, the teen ones now? I think like if you do it after the age of 15, you have to do 3 instead of 2 now. Like, is it the same thing for adults?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically the benefits outweigh the potential risks.
Absolutely, 100%. And
Okay.
just to piggyback on that, I mean, what we're talking about here is cervical cancer. And we're
Right.
seeing that, HPV loves to live in the cervix, and we can test for it. And so if you've gotten the vaccine, it's reducing the incidence of cervical cancer by almost 70%. So that's pretty significant.
Wow, that is. Now, the ovarian cancer is not something you can test for, correct?
There's really no good screening, testing for the masses. I mean, pelvic ultrasound, looking at your ovaries, CA-125,
Yeah,
though.
that was gonna be my next question. I always ask for that, and she's like, "You don't need it." I'm like, "But I want it." So, can you tell us about the CA 125?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for women at risk, having a mother, a sister, an aunt, a grandmother on the maternal side, we are doing kind of random screening every 6 months or once a year and with pelvic ultrasounds, but it's not necessarily sensitive just to ovarian cancer. It can be falsely positive for other medical conditions like fibroids or endometriosis. So I think, again, like anything we're talking about, you have to engage your doctor, engage your gynecologist, talk about your risk factors, and be your best advocate. But you need to ask the questions.